I stood in the back of the boardroom, arms crossed, trying not to show how hard my hands were shaking, gut twisting, jaw locked. I was watching the presentation I should have been giving. Darren was clicking through the slides like he even understood them. Matt was nodding along, spewing buzzwords like optimization layers and predictive load matching like he'd invented them. And Carl, my boss, just stood there smiling like the king of the damn castle. The deal was huge, $7.9 million contract with Eastwell Freight. This was the kind of rollout that could shift a whole company's trajectory. 6 months of brutal hours, zero social life, and enough caffeine to put me in the ER once. And not one word about who actually built the system. Carl even laughed like it was a joke. As you can see, our senior leads pulled this off in record time. Senior leads? Darren had been on vacation for half of March. Matt didn't even know what half the functions did. I wrote every line of that code. They sat in the meetings. I sat in the trenches. Then the Eastwell team asked about the predictive delivery model. That was mine. I designed it from scratch. Machine learning layered over real-time port traffic and live weather pulls. Darren blinked, Matt coughed. So I stepped forward. Loud and clear, I answered. Broke it down like I was talking to someone new to the company. No fluff, no condescension, just facts. Carl turned, surprised I was even still in the room. Ah, yeah, that's Mason. One of the devs who helped here and there. My vision actually blurred for a second. I forced a smile, nodded to the Eastwell rep, and stepped back like I hadn't just been kicked in the chest. That moment, that single second, where I explained a system they couldn't even fake their way through, that was when it hit me. They weren't going to give me credit, ever. Not unless I ripped it out of their hands. Quick note, before we go further, share which city or country you're watching from. I wasn't invisible because they didn't see me. I was invisible because they chose not to. And now, I had to decide what to do about it. That night after the boardroom stunt, I didn't go home. I stayed in my cube, staring at the whiteboard I'd filled over 6 brutal months. My name's Mason Reed. I'm 41. I've worked at Blue Ridge Systems for 9 years, longer than anyone in my department, including Carl. The Eastwell project, no one wanted to touch it. The system was a Frankenstein mess. 3 vendors had already walked. Carl tossed it on my desk last February like it was trash. See if there's anything salvageable. Then walked off without waiting for an answer. I could have pushed back, said no, but I didn't. I saw what it could be if someone gave a damn. So I dove in. I skipped my niece's birthday, missed my mom's retirement dinner. My girlfriend left me in April, said I loved the job more than her. I ended up in the ER in May from sleeping under my desk with a fever pushing 104, bronchitis. Doc told me to take a week off. I went back the next day. I was obsessed, yeah. But it wasn't ego, it was pride. The freight world's a disaster. Bad data, late loads, constant reroutes. I knew I could fix it, and I did. I built a real-time reroute model from scratch, pulled in port congestion data, weather feeds, customs holdups, made it all dynamic. Top-tier consultants told Carl it couldn't be done. Not in this time frame. I proved them wrong. And then, 2 weeks before the pitch to Eastwell, I stopped getting invited to meetings. I'd check the shared calendar and see them pop up. Eastwell strategy, client presentation prep, module review. No invites, no pings, nothing. One afternoon, I passed the glass-walled conference room. Carl was in there with Darren, Matt, and 2 account managers I barely knew, all of them nodding at slides I hadn't built. I stood outside, listening. Darren was explaining our reroute solution. I heard phrases I'd written in my dev notes, verbatim, my words, my structure, my model, just with Darren's voice over it. That night, I dug through the shared drive until I found the deck. My stomach dropped. No mention of my name, not on the architecture overview, not on the system map, not even in the dev credits. But there it was, the algorithm I'd built, stripped down into bite-sized chunks for execs who'd never written a line of code. Matt was presenting my prediction engine. Darren had taken my module breakdown and added generic charts over it. The core of the whole damn thing, my system, was now a team effort led by Carl's rising stars. I sat there staring at the file for a long time. I didn't move, didn't speak, just let it sink in. They were stealing it, not borrowing, not reworking, stealing. Carl would take the credit for the algorithm. Darren would pretend he designed the modules. Matt would fumble his way through the integrations and maybe sound halfway smart. And me, I'd get a pat on the back and maybe a pizza party. I closed the deck and leaned back in my chair, chest tight, fingers tingling. The worst part wasn't the theft. It was knowing they planned it, behind my back, on purpose. They thought I'd just roll with it, stay quiet. Be the guy who worked himself half to death for a line in a report nobody read. They didn't think I'd do anything. That was their mistake. I didn't sleep, didn't eat. Just waited for the sun to come up. By 8 sharp the next morning, I was outside Carl's office. He was already in, sipping coffee and tapping away on his phone like nothing in the world could touch him. I knocked once and stepped in, shut the door behind me. He didn't look up. "Morning. Got a minute?" He gave me the usual fake smile. "Always for you, Mason." I stayed standing. I saw the deck. Deck? He tilted his head like he didn't know what I was talking about. For Eastwell, the one Darren and Matt are presenting, the one that's using my architecture. Still didn't stop scrolling. "Yeah, we cleaned it up for client delivery. There's nothing in it that says I built it." Carl finally looked up, calm as ever. "We're putting our best communicators forward." "You're not exactly polished, Mason." I laughed, sharp and dry. "Polished? I built the damn thing. You know that?" "Sure. And you'll be recognized internally. But this isn't about egos. It's about winning deals. Darren and Matt are smoother in front of clients I cross my arms. That system doesn't exist without me. Every module, every function, that was my work. You know it. They couldn't explain the prediction engine if their lives depended on it." Carl leaned back, laced his fingers behind his head. "Look, Blue Ridge owns the IP. It's not about whose hands type the code. It's a team win. Don't make this personal." "It is personal when my name gets erased," I shot back. His tone changed, sharper now. "Mason, you're a good developer. One of the best. But you're not client-facing material. The way you dress, your voice, your vibe, it doesn't scream executive." I stared at him. "You mean I don't kiss enough ass?" He didn't answer, didn't have to. Silence stretched. My chest was burning, but I kept my voice even. "You can call it whatever you want. Just don't pretend it's about the client. It's about control. You didn't build the system, so you're trying to make sure nobody knows who did." Carl stood up slowly, straightened his cuffs. "Are you done? For now?" He smiled again, smug this time. "I suggest you get back to work. We've still got a launch to prep for." I walked out, but my whole body was tight. I felt like I'd been sucker punched in a fight I didn't even agree to. But I kept replaying that boardroom moment, the one time Carl couldn't fake it. The second the client asked something real and his golden boys choked, that moment gave me something he hadn't planned for. Leverage. And I wasn't about to waste it. I didn't even make it out of the building before it started. I was still in the hallway when Eastwell's CTO, Lisa Park, caught up with me. "Mason Reed?" I turned. She was direct. Heels clicking, sharp suit, no smile. "We need a word." Now she led me to a side office, shut the door behind us. Didn't sit. "Who exactly built this system?" she asked, arms crossed. "Who signs the technicals?" I didn't blink. "Me. I wrote the entire architecture, prediction engine, reroute model, dynamic scheduling. It's all mine." She nodded once. "That's what I thought." "We've been asking questions Darren couldn't answer." I stayed quiet. Then she said it. "We want your signature on the specs, non-negotiable." I blinked. "What? You're the architect. You sign. If your name's not on the implementation package, we won't move forward." She pulled a card from her blazer and handed it to me. Her direct number. "Call me if anyone gives you trouble." She walked out without another word. I stood there alone, holding that card like it was a key. Next morning, I walked into the office early, real early, before Carl, before the juniors. Just me and the hum of old lights and dead air. I typed up a document, 2 pages, clear, sharp, no fluff. Lead architect title, 20% raise. Lead on the implementation phase, reporting directly to Eastwell on all technical matters. By 10 a.m., I was in Carl's office again. He was on a call. I waited. This time, he noticed. "What's this?" he asked, flipping through the pages. "My terms." He frowned. "Terms for what?" "For the signature Lisa Park asked for." "You need it. I'm giving you the price." His face turned a shade darker. "This is extortion." "No," I said calmly. "This is negotiation. You told me this was business, so let's do business. You're not in a position to demand anything. I am if the client refuses to move without my name on the package. He stood up fast, pointed at the door. Don't push me, Mason. I will fire you. I didn't move. Then do it. Call Eastwell. Tell them the architect vanished a week before launch. See how that goes? He stared at me, breathing hard, silent. I walked out. An hour later, HR called me in. Woman named Sandy, new, maybe 6 months in. She smiled too much, tried to play it nice. We've reviewed your request. Leadership's willing to offer a performance bonus instead of a raise. And a formal shout-out at next month's all hands. I didn't even sit down. Nope, I'm not negotiating with middle management. You've got the document, you've got the clock, Mason. 5 p.m., I said. Or I call Lisa myself. Her smile faltered. Tell Carl I'm serious. And if you guys want to keep pretending this company values loyalty, now's your chance to prove it. I walked out and shut the door behind me. I wasn't bluffing. I wasn't playing tough. I was just done begging for scraps. They wanted my name on the system, then they damn well pay for it. By 4:30, I hadn't heard a thing. No emails, no knock on my door, nothing. At 4:47, Sandy from HR called me in. Her tone was flat. We've updated your offer. I walked in. She slid a folder across the desk like it was a speeding ticket. I opened it. Lead implementation role, check. 16% raise. Not 20, but close enough. My name, officially listed as lead architect on all internal and external documentation. No handshake, no congratulations. Just a signed agreement and a tight-lipped warning. Keep it professional, Mason. I've been professional, I said, standing up. You're just not used to people calling your bluff. Carl didn't say a word to me that day, or the next. He'd walk into meetings, look right through me, like I didn't exist. So I stopped wasting time on him. I built my own team. 2 junior devs nobody paid attention to, Chris and Devin. Smart guys, raw but sharp. Other managers passed them over. I made them co-leads, told them straight up, you carry your weight, you get credit. They showed up early, stayed late, asked the right questions. And they listened. Lisa checked in every Thursday, sometimes by call, sometimes in person. She didn't talk down to me, didn't micromanage. She'd ask real questions, take notes, and actually thank me for updates, like a partner. That's what kept me grounded. Not the raise, not the title. The fact that someone finally treated the work like it mattered. We had 6 weeks to bring the system live. We nailed every deadline. Not one missed milestone. Go live day came. Everyone held their breath. Nothing crashed. Nothing glitched. The prediction model hit 94% accuracy in the first 24 hours. Emails flooded in from Eastwell's regional teams. This is game-changing. Reroutes executed before delays even happened. Best rollout we've seen in a decade. Carl didn't forward a single one. In the final debrief, he stood in front of the execs, running through results like he was reading a grocery list. Strong performance, minimal issues, successful delivery. After the meeting, Devin looked at me and whispered, "Does he really think nobody notices?" I smiled. Doesn't matter. The right people noticed. And that was the truth. 2 days after launch, Lisa texted me. Coffee this week. Off-site. My treat. We met at this small cafe near the Eastwell hub in Jersey City. She was already there when I walked in. No laptop, no assistant, just her. Sipping black coffee like she had all the time in the world. Sit, she said. I did. She got right to it. This system's gold. Your work saved us millions already, but your company's holding you back. I didn't argue. She slid a business card across the table. Julian Mercer, Chief Technology Officer, Eastwell Freight. He's building a new innovation group. I want you to lead it. I raised my eyebrows. Me? She nodded. Double the pay, full equity package, total control over your team. No Carl, no ceiling. You hire who you want, build how you want. Julian trusts me, and I trust you. I almost laughed. Lisa, I just finished cleaning up your launch. You want to hand me a department now? I do, she said, no hesitation. But I know you. You'll finish what you started. So do that. Then call Julian. This isn't a maybe, Mason. It's a door. She stood, handed me the check. And it's open? I stared at that card the whole ride home. That night, I told my brother, Troy. He was sitting on my couch eating leftover Thai, watching some reality car show with the volume too high. I said, "Eastwell wants to poach me. They're offering me a leadership role, real leadership, equity, autonomy, all of it." He didn't even look up. "Told you they were using you." I didn't answer, because I knew he was right. I'd spent 9 years loyal to a place that saw me as a tool, not a person, not a mind. Just a machine to crank out fixes and stay quiet while others took the bow. Carl didn't believe I was worth the risk. HR thought I'd fold if they dangled a bonus. Every win I got, I had to rip out of their hands. Now, Lisa, a client I barely knew 6 months ago, was offering me everything I'd earned. No drama, no games. I looked at the card again. It didn't feel like luck. It felt like justice. But I'd told her I'd finish the rollout, so that's what I was going to do. Then I was gone. 2 months later, the system was fully live across all Eastwell freight zones. Everything synced, no outages. The port traffic model I built adjusted faster than dispatch could react. It wasn't just running, it was outperforming projections. Then I got the letter, printed on thick cream paper, Eastwell letterhead at the top, signature from Julian Mercer at the bottom, Mason Reed, lead architect, Blue Ridge Systems. I read it 3 times, folded it, put it in my drawer. Next morning, I walked into Carl's office. No knock this time, just handed him the letter. "This came yesterday," I said. He read it, jaw tight, didn't look up. "Cool. I'm resigning," I said, effective immediately. Still didn't look at me. All right. That was it. No party, no email blast, no awkward team lunch or framed certificate. I cleared my desk, packed my stuff into a single box, shook a few hands, mostly the quiet ones. Chris and Devin followed me out to the parking lot. Devin looked pissed. Chris just said, "So, what happens now?" I smiled. "Give me a month." 6 weeks later, they were both sitting in Eastwell's new DevOps center, with raises, with titles. I brought in 2 more, Nick from QA and Amber from internal tooling, folks who actually worked, not just talked loud in meetings. Then the calls started. People I barely knew from Blue Ridge started reaching out. Engineers, support staff, even a guy from procurement. "Hey, I heard you landed at Eastwell. Any chance they're still hiring? Just looking for somewhere that gives a damn. Honestly, anywhere's better than here." The tone changed fast. Word got around that Carl's golden boys weren't delivering. Darren couldn't answer basic integration questions. Matt missed 2 project calls in 1 week. One of my old coworkers texted me, "They're flailing without you." Carl's trying to act like nothing's wrong, but everyone sees it. I didn't need revenge. I just needed out. And now that I was out, I was building something better. It was almost a year to the day when the news hit. Blue Ridge had lost the Dawson contract, a freight analytics deal they'd been chasing for months. Lost it to us. Their platform couldn't handle the dynamic routing Dawson needed. Ours could. We didn't oversell. We delivered. Lisa forwarded me the email from Dawson's COO. "Your tech speaks for itself." Blue Ridge came in loud. "You came in ready?" I didn't gloat. Didn't need to. A week later, Carl got reassigned. That was the word they used in the press release. Internally, everybody knew. He was out. Quietly dumped into some strategy advisory role with no team and no budget. Corporate exile. I wasn't surprised. He'd built his entire image on top of my work. And when that foundation left, so did the results. I saw him again 2 months later at a logistics tech expo in Dallas. I was keynote. The expo hall had standing room only. Hundreds of people, half of them holding notepads and recording me on their phones. After I stepped off stage, I spotted him. Alone near the exit, wearing that same stiff smile. We made eye contact. I gave him a single nod, nothing more. He didn't nod back, just looked away. My team had grown to 30 by then. A mix of veterans, fresh talent, and people like me. The ones other companies overlooked because they didn't dress the part or didn't play nice enough in meetings. We didn't care about Polish, we cared about results. When someone delivered, we said their name. In the room, in the reports, in front of clients, always. One afternoon, after we locked down another regional rollout, one of the new devs, Mariana, sharp kid from New Mexico, asked me, "How'd you know when to leave?" I didn't hesitate. When staying started to cost more than leaving, she nodded like she felt it in her bones. Leaving Blue Ridge wasn't just about the pay or the title. It was about the weight that finally came off my chest. The silence that wasn't bitter anymore, just calm. But the biggest shift wasn't mine. It was the ripple effect. Chris started mentoring interns. Devin led a redesign of our dev pipeline. Amber ran her own scrums now. Clients requested her by name. They were thriving because someone gave them room, gave them credit. We'd built something solid, not just functional, fair. And watching my people win, really win on their own terms, that was better than revenge. 3 years after I walked out of Blue Ridge, I got an email from a recruiter. Subject line: VP of Technology, Blue Ridge Systems. Seeking a turnaround leader, I laughed so hard I had to put my coffee down. They really had no idea. Either that, or someone up top finally realized how deep Carl had buried the place. I didn't respond. I forwarded it to 2 of the guys I'd mentored, both rock stars who had been overlooked by companies just like Blue Ridge. I attached a salary number 20% higher than what I was making now, just to make a point. I didn't want the job. Hell no. But it was wild seeing them beg for the kind of leadership they once spat out. That kind of revenge felt better than watching Carl get fired ever could. Because Carl, he couldn't build what we were building. He never could have. We started pulling people from the shadows. Coders from small shops, product folks who'd been micromanaged to death, tech leads who'd been told, "You're not strategic enough." People like I used to be. We didn't post flashy job listings. We messaged directly, quiet back channels. Heard what happened at your last gig. Want to do something different? They came, one by one, smart, scrappy, ready. And we built something Carl never understood, a place where nobody had to prove they deserved to be heard. Now, when someone comes to me and says, "My manager keeps presenting my ideas like they're his," I don't just nod. I offer them 3 other teams they can talk to. I give them names, introductions, perspective. They don't always quit, not right away, but now they know they can. That's what matters. The best revenge wasn't walking out that door. It was making a place where no one else would have to. I should have never had to fight like that, just to be treated like I belonged. And now, I don't fight for a seat at the table. I build the damn table. So, if you're sitting there, in that same chair I sat in, where your ideas disappear and your name gets pushed to the side, let me say this: you're not imagining it. You're not too sensitive. You're just finally seeing it clearly. Start planning. Track everything. Find people you trust. Speak up when it's smart. And when that moment comes, don't hesitate. Take the damn shot.